Welcome back, Open, ladies and gentlemen. This is group stage number 2. I'm Rifkin. Thank you very much for tuning in today. And leading the series at the moment is, of course, our French player, but our not French player, in fact, the enemy of France. The British player at the top left corner of the map, he is the ever so suave blue player from Evil Geniuses, Demuslim. And his opponent top right, hailing from Millennium. Look at that team. He's red, he's Terran, he's leading the series 1-0. It is Marinelord. Okay, so game number 1 didn't quite go the way I expected it to. We see Marinelord being the one to take the earlier gas this time. Demuslim not doing so. Now, of course, when Demuslim took the earlier gas last time, we saw the Banshees go off, and Banshees are real, oh man, I don't know. They're a real hit or miss unit. Sometimes they're fantastic, sometimes they just straight up win you the game. Sometimes you'll lose the game if you waste too much on them. I don't think the Banshees really had a huge impact on the outcome of that game. I think if you had kept them alive for much later, he would have had a much more fun late game picking off tanks, but having lost them earlier on, really just gave way for Marinelord to have a lot of not anti-air. He didn't need that air dominance, and what little he did have was more than enough to cover the Vikings of that Demuslim. So now realizing, actually, I didn't really catch up on this right away. They did swap colors, not a big deal. Red versus blue, blue versus red. But the big deal is, of course, that gas coming up so much earlier here for Marinelord. So we'll see if he goes for the faster Banshees, kind of pays the Demuslim back. Say, hey, your Banshee got to my base pretty quick last game. Let's see if I can do the same thing. It'll be a race. We'll chalk that up to not actually being the case. But, yeah, faster factory coming out of Marinelord as expected. Fun fact about Marinelord, guys, just while we're waiting for the game to pick up here. For those who don't know, I've been following him through his career for a little bit of time. Not to say I'm his biggest fan or a dedicated caster by any stretch of the imagination, but I remember when he used to be out Against All Authority, when I would see young Buck Marinelord in the Zotac Cups, just barely making it to the quarterfinals, sometimes the semis. He was an alright dude, and go for StarCrafts and Zotacs just weren't his thing. I don't know what happened, but something about joining Millennium really kicked his ass into high gear. We see him playing at a very high level now. I still think he's got a good ways to go. He's not quite at the point where we're going to call him the next Jockshi by any means, but as we see, leading the series 1-0, he certainly knows his stuff. A side note, I really like Marinelord's. He probably doesn't like it. I like watching his TvP, though. I think probably is my favorite. But Demuslim has been impressing me a little bit, too. For those who didn't catch him, he's obviously out of the spotlight for quite a bit of time. Came back for the WCS runs, qualified, kicked a lot of ass in the process of doing so. But determined, if nothing else, was this dude. Something really cool that happened during the qualifiers. Well, actually, hang on. It's not going to be... this is going to be the 1-1-1 with the Benevac. Okay, that's cool. Something quite cool that happened during the qualifiers was Demuslim lost. And lost and lost. And then finally won on the final day, I think it was. So, was able to qualify. Didn't get... not exactly the most notable, craziest upset of all time. Demuslim getting into it. It's not going to make headlines anytime soon, but it was really nice to see him come back and be able to kick enough ass to qualify for WCS. Again, he had just kind of disappeared for like a year or something, it felt like. Well, maybe not that long, but this build is a build that's been so frustrating for a lot of people to deal with. Demuslim walls off the front of his ramp this time, though, so this won't be that big of a deal. Now, there's a lot of dead space up here, and you can certainly elevator the units up, as oftentimes tends to be the case, but if he was planning to run some Hellions around the side, which I really don't think he is, what with the Hellion in the medevac, they really wouldn't have gotten a lot done, sadly. So Marinelord heals up to one Hellion that was a little bit injured, comes across the map now with full force, and the goal is to pick up from the low ground, bring everyone to the high ground, and then move out of the fog of war together. This should be able to surprise the Demuslim a little bit. His starport significantly slower than that of his opponents. One more Hellion should do it. Alright, this force is a bit scary. It's 6 Marines to 7 plus a medevac. There's the Hellions as well. A Marinelord. That's the GG, guys. This is what I'm talking about. I hate the 1-1-1 builds because they just get you so damn off guard. But Marinelord will take the series 2-0, sending Demuslim to the losers match in this bracket, in this group. Jesus, that was a